Hi everyone, it's Tasha. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Well, hello and welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you here. I have been hitting some thrift shops again this week just to see what I can find. I found some really beautiful items, as well as some that had a lot of styling potential, and I even hit up some places that I don't get to very frequently. This particular store has lots of prints and posters all just collected together in this bin to look at, so that was exciting. Let's jump right into some things that I brought home. So first of all, I did find this beautiful faux travertine column or plinth. I thought that this was so pretty. I snatched it right up. It's not real travertine. Again, it has a laminate covering on it. It was $20 from Goodwill, but these are a lot more expensive online. This new version, which I think is marketed as kind of a shop piece that you would put in a market to display something on, was over $300, and this one that looks to be the exact same as mine on Cherish is almost $700. So I was really floored by that pricing. I wasn't expecting it to be that much for a laminate covered plinth. In any case, I did think it was really pretty, and so I styled it for you all to see here. However, I do think that this actually clashes with my flooring quite a bit. I couldn't really find a spot that I wanted to leave it forever, so I did want to share it with you because you never know what you're going to find at the thrift shop. But on the other hand, I think that I'm going to just be selling this one on Marketplace. But something else that I found that I do love was this kind of ugly house basket with this sports stuff all over it, but it's a nice shape. I like the fact that it's shaped like a little house. Someone has just glued on some wooden appliques with the sports stuff. It needs a new paint job anyway because the blue is kind of chipping. So I thought that I would bring this home and give it a makeover. It cost me $6.99, and I love these neutral ones that I've been seeing. I want mine to be somewhere in between with a little bit more personality than these, but not blue and white with the sports stuff on it. So the first thing that I'm doing is obviously just removing the sports wooden pieces on the front. They did pop right off, which was lucky. However, the spots of glue remained behind, and then I had to kind of pry those off. The spots of glue on the roof section came off pretty easily with just a little bit of a push with a flathead screwdriver, and although the piece itself came off of the bottom, the spots of glue did not want to come off, so I ended up having to go inside and get my hair dryer and hook that up, and with a little bit of heat applied to those sections for maybe 10 or 15 seconds each, then I was able to release the glue spots. Once all the glue was off and I had dusted it with a brush, I was ready to go in with paint. Now I wanted the color Down to Earth, which I love, or Latte. Those are my two favorite go-to paint colors. I settled for this color called Nutmeg because it's also really beautiful. It's a little bit darker than the two I mentioned, but I was able to get it same day and move this project along to be in this video, so I went with this one. Again, I do really like this color. I would recommend it. It looks great on baskets or other items, and I've seen other folks on here use it before, so I felt pretty confident grabbing it, and I'm not disappointed. I really like it. And I'm just going to, after I did the bottom section in the nutmeg color, kind of tape that off and cover it up so that I can do the roof in a contrasting color. I thought that I would use something a little bit darker on the roof, so I grabbed this color called Brown Bear, and I will link to both of those paints in the description box. So now that I have that done, I have my roof done a little bit darker. I was trying to make myself a template out of poster board where I could then just quickly spray on a little door and some windows. So I did a lot of work measuring that and getting it exactly right, did my painting, and ended up hating it. It was not enough high contrast with the dark color over top of the light one, and I decided to go a totally different direction. I just ended up freehanding this, and I used the existing marks at least as a template so that I knew everything was centered, but I wanted my arch door to be bigger, and I didn't like the round windows after all. All I could see was a surprised looking face every time I looked at it, so I decided to also make my windows into squares instead of circles. If I were doing this again, I would definitely just go in and freehand paint it to begin with and trust myself to get that pretty well right in the first place rather than wasting the time making the template. Here I'm just using a color called Beachcomber Beige. This is just a little apple barrel paint that I picked up from Walmart, and I think that this color gave me more of the contrast that I was looking for. And if you're a regular here, you know that I have a daughter, so I'm just making this one a little bit more of a girly piece, and I thought that I would add this really cute bow to the top made of this brown gingham fabric. This is left over from when I made this long lumbar pillow for our master bedroom out of a curtain panel, and so I had some of that fabric left. I just cut some to make a little bow, and I'm attaching it with a good generous portion of hot glue. It might fall off eventually, but I feel like it will stay for quite a while, and I think it's a nice finishing touch. So here it was before, and it's State from Goodwill for $6.99, and once I'm done with it, I think that it looks really sweet. Again, I think I probably would have preferred a slightly lighter paint on the bottom just for a little more contrast with the roof, but I think it looks really good as is. So let me know if you like the ribbon long or short on that. I couldn't decide, so I just tucked it up so that I could show you both ways. But either way, I think this was a great project for just $7. Another thing that I picked up from the thrift shops this week was this little brass apple. I do love brass. It's actually an apple bell, and it cost only $1.99 from a thrift shop, and I don't usually buy little decorative items that are very, very small. This is one of the smallest that I think that I would probably buy, because a lot of smaller items can start to look cluttered a little faster than larger ones. And so, but this one just really caught my eye. I thought it was really pretty. I'm just getting the sticker residue off with some dish soap and letting that sit for a while, and it was a great buy for just $1.99. I do think that it looks really nice on top of a stack of books or anywhere where a small item looks proportional. And I also found this from a different thrift store. It was marked for $1.99, but it was actually two of these little decorative suitcases inside of one another, and one is smaller. I found them online. On Amazon, a set of 3 of these exact ones cost about $30, so I thought that for $2 it was a great deal. Of course, they look wonderful stacked, and they're going to make their way up to be used on my husband's dresser just to sort some little odds and ends there, but I thought I would show them to you downstairs in a couple of different spots. These are like paperboard. They're not actually leather, but they have a great look. I thought that for $2 they made a really nice decorative accent. And I also picked up some books this week from Goodwill. They are $1.49 there, I believe, for hardbacks. This one is called Mastering Bread, and it has some beautiful photos inside that definitely make you want to rush over and bake bread immediately. And this one was $32.50 priced on the cover where you would buy it new. I thought that it would be great styled open if you have the space, or just closed because the spine is beautiful as well, and course a reference book for your kitchen and for the recipes as well. I also found this one called The Bread Baker's Apprentice, which has a beautiful cover inside, just a really nice brown tone, and a lot of good information in it as well. So I'm just going to be kind of using those two beside each other in the kitchen for some countertop decor, as well as of course using them for the bread recipes. I really want to start baking more. I used to have more time for it, so hopefully I can squeeze that in a little bit more often. And I also found this book called The Food Lab, and it's Better Home Cooking Through Science. This one has a really high rating on Amazon, 4.9 out of 10,000 plus reviews, where it was over $30 and again $149. We also hit up some yard sales this past weekend, and we went to quite a few. I didn't get a lot of items, and this yard sale was a really nice one, but at a different one I ended up finding this beautiful mortar and pestle set that just really caught my eye. And this particular yard sale had barely anything, just a small table by the road, but this was one of the things they had. These would cost $50 plus very easily online, especially somewhere like Olive Atelier. You can get the various ones for different sizes. I thought this one was beautiful. It was only $3 at the yard sale. And in fact, I went to Olive Atelier and kind of looked up the size that's relative to the one that I got. Mine's actually a little bit larger than their dimensions list for a size large. And so for $3 versus $65 for a really similar high-end, chunky and heavy look, I thought that was a great deal. I'm definitely going to be leaving this one out on the countertop just to add some of that rustic, old world charm and that high-end, trendy look to my countertop. Now, I do not have a high-end, top-of-the-line kitchen with all new counters, backsplash, anything like that. Just DIY cover-ups that we have done, but still, this adds a really nice touch to our kitchen, and I love the warmth it brings. I also ended up finding this set of beautiful William Morris mugs at Goodwill. They had this marked for $8.99, and I thought that it would make a great gift if you could get the writing off. They do price directly on the item, so that made me a little wary. I wasn't sure that I wanted to get that as a gift for someone, but I did end up picking up this mug just for myself, which was $2.99. I thought it was really pretty. I love the olive and dark brown tones, and it reminded me of the olive jars that are really popular right now that people are collecting. I believe that Home Goods has a version of it, but this is just my little mug version. I like the lid and how you can keep your drink a little bit warmer for longer with the lid on, and it's just perfect for the fall and winter season. And let's finish off with a subscriber score. This one comes from Anne Marie, who bought this painting at Goodwill for just $5, but she was looking for a piece for her master bedroom, so the fruit didn't really fit the bill. So she removed the canvas, put in a print that she downloaded from Etsy, finished it off with Mod Podge on top, plus Rub and Buff on the frame. Good find, Anne Marie. It looks gorgeous. And those were my finds for this week. I hope you were able to go out and do a little bit of secondhand shopping as well this week, or maybe sometime soon. If you did enjoy this video, please hit the thumbs up before you leave and leave me a comment. I love to read your comments. Let me know what you enjoyed. Also, if you haven't subscribed already, hit that button if you would like to see more of my videos in your feed. And as always, I hope everyone listening has a fantastic week, and I'll see you at the next video.